Okay, this is video number 2, doing my overview of pitchers count baseball. The first one, we got through an inning and 2/3. So I got through a couple things and basic things. Let's see what happens on this one, and I'll upload it and make them both available. So bottom of the first 2 outs, Ryne Sandberg is up, and not sure if we resolved this at bat or not. Go ahead and call it an out. Okay, we'll go back top of the second. We'll start here. Kevin McReynolds is up. He's a left fielder. He's going to be batting right-handed. Now this is going to show Greg Maddux's power, because against right-handed pitchers he gets a D16 roll. That's pretty powerful. McReynolds gets a D8. And McReynolds got the better roll. Look at that. He rolled a 1. So McReynolds has control. So we don't have a hit by pitcher or wild pitch check. We do check the D100 to complete the crucial pitch phase. It's a 73. It does not fall within a range of a K or a walk. So we use the control number to go to the ball and play phase, go to the control section of his card. It's a ground ball with a roll of a D8. Go to the no control part of Maddux's card. On a ground ball, he gets a D4. Maddux got the best of it. It's in the negative numbers, which is favorable to the pitchers. It's a -1. It's a right-handed batter, so it's a ground ball to the shortstop. It's in red, indicating potential error. We do have an error check on this one, so we'll be doing an error check against the shortstop, Shawon Dunston. So again, this is a double play / fielder's choice. 25% of the time you'd get the double play, and you use the D100. If it's 25 or less, you would have gotten the double play if the situation called for it. In this case, with no runners on base, it's a ground ball out, but we do have an error check against Dunston. So we check out the fielder's chart for Dunston at shortstop. His fielding rating is a 3. Any roll of 3 or less on the D20 would have been an error, so we have no error on the play. It's an out. Ground out to the shortstop. Gary Carter's the next batter. I know him by heart. He is a right-hander. He gets a D4 against the mighty D16 of Greg Maddux. Again, Maddux got it's a tie, so it goes to the batter. So 18, and base is empty. Nothing for roll of 18. We go to the control number of 10. Means it's a line drive D10. That's a well-hit ball, folks, and he gets a roll of D10. So there's a potential for home runs here. I'm not sure if he'll get it on this one, but it's a well-hit ball. And on a line drive, no control, Maddux gets a D3. And the roll was not favorable for Carter. So it's a line drive. We're going to do a park factor on this one. So for a right-handed batter, it went to the center fielder. It's a potential one-base error. The $ indicates if there's a throw involved in the play, that's a mandatory error check. That's what the $ means. So we're going to go to the park to get more about this result. We do know it's a line drive to the center fielder. Use the right arrow key to get to the park chart. And Robert has told me that eventually there are going to be ballpark charts for each ballpark. Right now we just have a generic ballpark chart. So in this one, you look under line drive 8. Because we have a line drive to the center fielder, we'll be looking here with the D20 roll of 12. So it's a single. But we do have, if you remember, an error check if there's a throw on the play. I'm not going to say there was a throw on this play. It's a single. And now if it was a double, there'd be a chance for him to get out at first or something. So anyway, the $ indicates a mandatory error check for plays resulting in a throw. So just to do it, just in case, Jerome Walton, we would do an error check of him in center field. Fielding value is 1. So it would have to be a 1 or less for him to get an error. So that's a single. Click on the 1 for a single. Gary Carter's on first base. Now we have a built-in stolen base thing. I doubt Gary Carter is going to steal. But maybe if it's Mookie Wilson, you'd want to check it or something. So we'll go to the player charts for each team. And you want to check the stolen base attempt thing for the automatic stolen base feature that I like to use when I'm playing. So Gary Carter's is 0, so we don't even have to check. So what you would do is say it was somebody else like Mookie Wilson. If on the D20 roll, if it's you would do a D20 roll. If it's 4 or less, then he's going to attempt to steal. And if he did attempt to steal, this would be the number you'd want to roll, 13 or less on the D20, and you would include the stolen base modifiers for your pitcher and catcher. And those would be right here on your other team's fielding chart. Stolen base modifier for Greg Maddux is a 2, and Joe Girardi, the catcher, is 1. So you would add that to the roll, your D20 roll. You would add 3 to it, and then apply the modifier for Mookie Wilson or whoever's stealing. So the number would have to be, the D20 plus 3 would have to be under 13 or under for the successful steal. Okay, no steal in this situation. Howard Johnson's up. He is a left-handed batter. Against a right-handed pitcher, he gets a D12. And Greg Maddux is back to a D4. 1 out. Carter on first base. Howard Johnson got control. We have a hit by pitch check. The number is 43. There is no hit by pitch check here. If Maddux had control of the at-bat, a 1 through 27 would have been a hit by pitch, but he does not. So we'll move to the ball and play phase. Use the control number 10. It's a line drive D10, another well-hit ball. So a lot of danger in this one. Line drive, he gets a D3. And so the result is 6 minus 3. It's 3 to the positive. So we'll go to the line drive column. 3. It's a single for a left-handed batter to right field. So we know that Howard Johnson's going to be put on first base. What we need to determine is if Gary Carter can make it to third on a single to right field. So Gary Carter has an XB of 8. His XB number is 8. His extra base number is 8. So for the right fielder, Andre Dawson, we need to get his hold and his arm number, -3, -1. And we'll put that right in here. And it's already been computed for us here. And you can see his SF number came out to 5. Now that SF number, again, is off the base running charts. Instead of the plus that we use for the batter trying to get an extra base, we're using the extra base chart for base runners. Again, the formula, which is already done down here, is the XB number from the batter, base runner, and then you add the hold number of the fielder, and then you subtract the arm from the D20 roll. It's all done right here, and the result is a 0. Oh, so he does get the extra base. Gary Carter does make it to third base. So the result was 0, and it's less than the SF, so Gary Carter gets to third base. So that's what I'm talking about with this game. There's a lot of detail, but I love how the players are really included in it, and I don't mind taking the extra time because I'm enjoying it as I'm doing it, because it's really using these player qualities. I feel like I'm getting realistic results. Now, I guess that remains to be seen, but I'm enjoying it, and I feel like I am getting realistic results. So the result of this play is a single, and Gary Carter will make it to third base. So I'm going to click on first 1 for single, and then I'm going to move Gary Carter to third base because he made it to third base on that. Okay, 1 out, top of the second. Kevin Elster's up, right-handed batter. Maddux gets his D16. He gets a D6. And he got control 52. We're using scoring situation 2 now. But 52, the D100 roll, 52 does not fall anywhere in there. And we have no hit by pitch or wild pitch check. So we're going to use control number 4. It's a shallow fly with a D4. Not encouraging for the Mets. On a shallow fly, Greg Maddux gets a D8. Should be pretty routine, and it is. It's a fly out to center field. And if you want to check to see if Carter could score, it's a shallow fly ball, so I doubt he's gone anywhere. we can go to the outs chart. By using the arrows, you can navigate the charts that Robert's going to let me post on the public version even. So runner advance on an out to center field. It was an out. This is like, I like to keep track of stuff here. So it was an out to center field on a shallow fly. Third base runner. Runner advance, third base, shallow fly to center field end. So he will no advance. That's what I thought. Alright, so let's mark the out and move right along. Alright, next batter is the pitcher. He'll get a D4 against the D16 of Maddox. This is a generic pitcher card that I made, by the way. Maddox gets control. He has a 72, which does not fall anywhere in scoring situation 2. So we go to the control number of 1. It's a ground ball with a D3 roll. On his no control section, he gets a D4 on a ground ball. Oh, I got to hit ground ball. D3, D4. So it's an out to the shortstop, but it's in the gray section. So we're going to do a range check on Shawon Dunston, and his range factor is 0. And a range factor check is this chart, and it's an out. We'll be using this section with a roll of 4, and it is an out confirmed. Dunston makes the play. So that was 2 outs. That's the last out of the inning. We go to the bottom of the second. So I have a couple minutes left. We'll see if we can get through another couple at-bats. Dawson's the batter, right-hander, against Dwight Gooden. Gooden gets an 8 against righties, and Dawson gets a 6 against righty pitcher. Pitcher gets control. It's a roll, a D100 roll of 4. So in the crucial pitch phase, you always want to check this first. So you can see a 1 to 20 is a K. So Gooden has struck him out. Next batter is Mark Grace, and he has a really nice card. He's a hard out. Gooden gets a D10 against the left-hander. Grace gets a D16 against a right-handed pitcher. Of course, Grace gets control with a 58. Nothing there. We go to the control number of 3. It's a ground ball, D6. That's a pretty hard hit ground ball with a D6 chance. On ground balls, Gooden also gets a D6. So what we have is an out. Fielder's choice if there's run on base 75% of the time. For a left-hander, it was a ground ball to the second baseman. Nothing else to check here, so that's an out. Vince Law, he's a right-hander. Vance Law, right-handed batter. He gets a D6 against the D8 of Dwight Gooden. 34, batter got control. 34, there's nothing there. We go to the control number of 1. It's a ground ball with a D6 against a ground ball of a D6. 0, and it is a ground ball to the third baseman with nothing left to check. So that's an out. So I'm going to start wrapping this up. So we've been able to, in the first video, do a a single plus, and I think it was Mookie Wilson. He got the double. In this situation here, we had a chance for the extra base for the base runner, and Gary Carter made it to third on a single. We've been over shaded areas, range checks. Red indicating results are potential error checks if the D20 roll tells you that there's an error check on that play. And we went over the chances for fielder's choice versus an out, or fielder's choice versus double play. On my box score, I like to mark if the batter had control, and that's the batter had control on the results with the boxes. And so you can kind of see the difference when the batter had control versus when he didn't have control. Now, it doesn't always pan out that way. There's a lot of hits come off the pitcher's control. And I've had quite a few of exciting home runs and doubles in my time. You didn't see any in these tutorials, but you can see that if the batter gets the higher rolls, you have a potential for home runs with deep flies and line drives. They get knocked out at a good rate. Alright, my time is about up, so I'll post both videos and talk to you online.